Hey guys, welcome back to Zethythonix channel. Today we are reviewing the RD GP03S version anime. This is my first anime RD, so I'm expecting it's gonna be good. The privilege of buying the anime RD is that they gave you thruster and other cool effect parts. It's really a shame that Stardust memory have so many awesome designs, but there's little revived versions of them. People have been yelling for GP Gundam MG 2.0 or XG Revive, but Bandai just want to save it as the ace of spades. So I assume they would just do a bunch of non-assembled kits first, then harvest another round of money by releasing the long-waiting XG Revive and MG 2.0. Well, I'm done with the waiting, so today I have the RD Stamen here. So let's start with the box. It is the same usual RD series type of box art. The box art is the final scene where Stamen detached from the Dromium, which the big fridge was damaged, so it was left behind. Speaking of possibilities, can you imagine that if Bandai released a full size of the big fridge? Usually RD is around 2 to 3 times more expensive than a normal MG, so I assume if Bandai do release the Dromium, the cost is going to be 56,000 to 84,000 yen, which is $620 to $970 in Australia. No, I'm kidding. No one is going to buy that if Bandai do release it. It's out of the normal range, even over MB. I want to ask a question to the people who have the XG, the Dromium, and you have a RD Stamen. Can you put the RD into the XG? I wish I can test it out, but A, I don't have money, and B, even if I do, it rarely reprints nowadays. Alright, we are done with the box art. Let's take a look at the back of the box. As you can see, the main gimmick that they are promoting is the articulations and folding arms. I always don't understand this because whether in games or OVA, Stamen have 2 bazookas, but in whatever line Stamen got released, is always 1. Okay, let's open the box and have a detailed look. Always starting from the menu, you can see that they replicate the beam saber storage, which is nice. There are some steps that tells you the articulations. The anime version will always have this little rack to store the optional hands. So here they are telling you to use the Damashii stage, but I tried it before. You can just use a regular base. You don't need to spend that unnecessary money. Then there are instructions on the shield, rifle, folding arms, bazooka, and the effect parts. I'm just gonna put the bad talks at the beginning. It is really a D move from Bandai, forcing you to buy the effect packs. Then you're gonna pull something else from another RD. Dude, I spent that much money. It's not that selfish to ask for a complete set. Moving on to the actual product, you can see that it's standard. You see a shield, beam sabers, beam rifle, and a bazooka. As far as I'm seeing right now, there's no big bangles or stuff, so let's jump straight to the review. Well, from my first impression, I think Robot Damashii don't have a huge difference with the XG one. I don't own an XG Stamen, but I went online and found some images. The colors are slightly different. Proportion is changed a bit and more curved lines on the surface. On first impression, it doesn't give you a huge visual impact like GP02 because GP02 looks obviously different compared to XG. I mean, I already paid the money, but it gave me a meh first impression. I'll tell you at the end if you need to choose between XG or RD, but right now let's walk through the features and articulations first. Stamen's head always gave me a very balanced feeling. It's just neat and traditional. You can see the head have another pair of antennas. It's definitely better than XG, sharper and better. The eyes are more visible compared to XG. I like that you can see the eyes better, but I'm not sure mine is defected or something. The green on the sensor is peeling off. Then the back of the head is completely missing. Moving on to the articulations, the head have an excellent head-up angle, so it's helpful to recreate the OVA scene. There's no tilting, but you can rotate the head. Be careful though because of the antenna and the head joint is tight. Unlike the XG, RD doesn't come with a core fighter, so it's just a normal gauntlet chest. A very typical protagonist tricolor scheme. Nothing special to extent. I'm not sure it's a new law or something, but the new RDs all got production details printed on the figure. Luckily, mine is at a place that you can't see unless you bend the chest. Let's check out the articulations. After you fully extended the joint, it can move an amazing front and back. This is fantastic for space environment pose. Side to side is impossible. The horizontal turn is just a little because of the armor size. On the surface, the arm seems like any standard designs, but the point is never on the design but on the feature. I'll just quickly go through the articulations so I can get to the most interesting part. Since Stamen have no fancy backpack, so the articulations won't be affected, but the ball joint on mine does feel awkward. It almost felt like it's about to lean towards the loose side. There's a good linkage mechanism though. When you move the arms back and forward, the chest armor will move along with it too. I think the most unreliable experience on the arms is the rotation. It felt too easy and I have a bad feeling that it will eventually become unstable. The bending is touching the shoulder, but this articulation isn't just for show. You can pull the folding arms out, but a lot of joints in the folding arms are tight. Take your time so you don't break the joints. So here we are, this is the deployed form. The design is awesome because this white piece here is a tight cover to make sure you won't have the whole folding arm fall out when you bend the arms. There are some articulations to help the pose. The folding arm is a double joint, so you have a lot of freedom to adjust the pose. There's a claw at the end of the folding arm. It can slightly move front and back. It can also rotate 360. You can open this claw and you see an empty spot here. This is for Stamen to grab the weapons from the Zethythonix. Later during the weapon section, we'll try the stability and let's see can it hold the weapons. The new RD sometimes have a storage rack for you to store the optional hands. There's 10 ball joints on the rack, including the standard hands on Stamen. It's exactly 10, so you will use it all. The waist of Stamen is different than a lot of Gundams. Looking at it from the front, it's just your average design, square and upright. The front skirts are individual. Each can move a bit more than 90, and you can see a black internal part under the skirt. The side skirts of Stamen are very unique. This front piece can move up and down. The tail binder can consider as both side and back skirts. The real back skirts are here, but they are fixed. The tail binder is connected through a ball joint, and we all know ball joints are unreliable. It's a shame that they did a good joint design on the folding arms, but can't afford one on the binders. The coloring is a bit disappointing. The colors that meant to have is all there, but not neat, and you can see the red is not tidy. There's another wing piece on the binder. It also got its own joint, but under the wing piece I can clearly see a big num mark. Every GP series Gundam have a similar design on the legs. You can see the knees are large compared to other designs. For those of you that watched the A.N.I.M.E episodes before, that's the propellant tanks in the knees. Overall, the undergate design on the legs are very effective and show the colors better. But again, there's a little bingo on the legs. The black color around the sensor is not in line again. You can see the color came out. As for the articulations, the front kick has a linkage with a separate joint in the crouch, so it's a perfect 90. Side kick have no interruption, so it's another 90. Back kick is only a little because the back skirts are fixed. The knee is a U-shaped band. Not only the movement range is impressive, you can see the knee armor split from the lower leg. For an action figure that is not made with RG or MG standards, this is something worth to commend. So one of the promotion pictures showed that Stamen can do a new post. Let's do a little experiment. The progress is quite easy. You don't need to push it very hard to get it done. The articulations in the legs are amazing. Finally, I don't need to push it so hard or adjust it for a long time for a new pose. The ankle armor can move a little bit. It's not that obvious, so you just need to know it but not use it. The foot is connected through a big ball joint. Moving front and back is excellent. Side to side is closed to non-existent. The foot can only rotate around 45 because it's too big. The foot has 2 extra joints. The middle of the foot can move down and the tip of the foot can move up. Alright, moving on to the thrusters on the back. So it's just like the tail binder. It's for docking with the Zethythonix. Let's review it in the reverse way. Starting from the thrusters. So it's the same issue like the ones on the tail binders. The red is messy and it even got onto the thruster surface. Now that is what I call unacceptable. The QC of the RD line is getting worse and worse every year. Back in the days, the QC is not that perfunctory. There's an armor piece hang over the thrusters. It can move slightly. The top of the backpack is a storage for the beam sabers. Once you open the cover, you can see there's a small pick joint for the beam saber to go in. Not only the storage, the whole thing can move to the front, sort of like creating a logical way to do the pull the beam saber out pose. Every anime version of RD has a lot of things to play with. We have 4 pairs of extra hands. The extra hands are weapon hands, rifle/bazooka hands, slightly open hands, and open hands. There's an extra antenna in the box. Don't worry, it has a purpose other than just replacement. The default antenna on Stamen is soft. This extra one is solid in case you changed your mind. Here's a pair of beam saber. As I mentioned before, you can just store them in the backpack. You can choose 3 effects to equip onto the beam saber. The first one is a standard beam. You can see the injection effect on the beam. The second one is a curved beam, which is very common nowadays, perfect for slashing pose. The last effect is a very thick one. This is the same one on GP02, but this effect is used for the rifle shot on Stamen. It's definitely not law accurate, so treat this as an extra playstyle. All the iconic weapons that Stamen should have is all here, starting from the bazooka. The appearance is not that special, but to be honest, the num mark marks on this bazooka are just too obvious. So there are some parts that you can move on this bazooka, such as the scope, the trigger piece, and you can fold this bazooka. That's why it's called folding bazooka. An extra info, you can pull the magazine off, but it's hollow inside. The next one is beam rifle. Just like the bazooka, they didn't sand the marks off. Also, the magazine can be removed, just like the bazooka. The movements on it are the same. The scope can move more than 180 and the subhandle can move 180. There's a little piece at the bottom of the barrel. You can take this out. Then you can push the jidet in. Remember the thick beam? It can fit into the barrel and now you can make the rifle shoot. Very thoughtful, I must say. The last armament is the shield. I think this one has a good QC because I can't find any big marks. The shield is very simple. You can fold it vertically. This is what it looks like when the shield is stored in the containers. There are two handles on the back. They can change distance by sliding. It's for the shield to fit better onto the forearms. There are 4 spots to store extra magazines, but you only got 2 in the box. This is triggering OCD. You can equip the shield in 2 ways, either hold the handle or just push it into the forearm, but I preferred the latter. Lastly, this is an anime version. Of course, it will come with thruster effects. Unfortunately, there are 6 thrusters, but you only got 2, so you need to choose where you put them. You can choose between backpack, tail binder, or under the feet. If you want all 6 of them equipped with thruster effects, you either grab 4 effects from another Anime RD or you need to buy the expansion set. Stamen is capable of using a large output thruster effect too, but the menu says you have to grab it from RD Anime Gym Type C space version. The feet and backpack are simple installation. If you want to equip it on the tail binder, you need to remove the part under the thruster, then replace it with the one that has a hole on it. Alright, welcome to the weapon experiment. We are testing the stability of the folding arms. Beam saber, beam rifle, shield, and folding bazooka don't have a fitting problem. The folding bazooka can fit, but it's very easy to fall out. I would suggest to use the arms as support. We are at the end of the journey. I'm very conflicted right now because this statement is very awkward. A lot of you already knows it, RD is a line of finished products. So it's for people who don't have time to paint or don't know how to. Essentially, it's a trade of using money to buy time, so when it's in your hands, it's completed. This RD was released on April 2021. The price is 7,150 yen. The XG back in 2001 is 1,600 yen. Here is a question that you want to ask yourself after the review. Is it really worth it to pay 4 times more expensive to get a not so overhaul upgrade? I mean, the proportion, articulations, and features surely got updated, but is it mind-blowing like XG Revised or MG 2.0/3.0? It's a 50-50 for me. The statement is good and acceptable as long as you chose to not take a closer look. I pay 110 for this, which is $30 more in Australia because it's the way it works here. But I do have a bit of complaints. First of all, RD have a long-term problem, which is they chose to use soft plastic hands. Not only it lacks the strength to hold heavy weapons like folding bazooka or the rifle plus the effect, it also gave you that constant feeling of the plastic will snap. Secondly, the QC is unacceptable. I have Robo Damashii in my backlog, but they don't have obvious mistakes. The QC this time made me feel like they just went whatever. It's quite disappointing. The RD line is improving just backwards. The number of mistakes makes me question, is it a worthy purchase? But as you know, the situation now, the waiting game of Stardust memory is endless. Question is, can you keep waiting? Are you a huge fan or are you willing to spend a lot? In my honest opinion, I do think if you have the skills and paints, the XG should be enough for you. For me, I think half of the cost is on the effect parts. But again, buying or not is your own opinion. Thanks for watching this review. If you like this video, make sure to subscribe and hit the bell next to it. Follow my IG, join my Discord, and feel free to donate. I'll see you in the next video. Goodbye.